Hello, this is the Jobs Crew. We're here to introduce the most influential American in U.S. history.
Okay, everyone, please pull out your phone and look at it. Think about how much you love and need it. Look how slim it is. Feel how smooth it is, and how much you use it every single day in school and at home, for entertainment and for homework. Now, put it back away in your backpack or in your pocket, and imagine you will never see it again, or it never even existed. Stephen Paul Jobs was born on February 24th, 1955, in San Francisco. He was adopted by Paul and Clara Jobs. Jobs' father would work in the garage with electronics. Paul showed his son how to take apart and reconstruct electronics, which instilled a mechanical prowess in him. Jobs became very bored in school, and his teacher had to bribe him to even try. But he ended up testing very well and was well above his grade level. In high school, he met his future business partner, Steve Wozniak. They often had the same interests, although Wozniak's knowledge was far more advanced than Jobs. He then went to college in Portland, Oregon. Lacking direction, he dropped out of college after only 6 months and spent the next 18 months dropping in on creative classes. He then met up with Steve Wozniak again and helped start Apple in Jobs' garage. This started by selling his VW bus and Wozniak's graphing calculator.
The accomplishments of Apple between 1976 and 1985 are nothing short of remarkable. The Apple I was hand-built and introduced computers to homeowners who were intrigued by the new technology, as well as introducing computers to schools. The Apple II was the first mass-produced Apple computer, which further expanded the new technology. However, Apple's biggest accomplishment was in 1984 with the release of the Macintosh. The Macintosh was the first computer to have a graphical user interface, along with the use of the mouse, which built the framework for modern computers.
After a brief separation from Apple, Steve Jobs returned and became CEO. During this time, as CEO, one of the biggest products he launched was the iMac. iMac boasted a revolutionary new all-in-one desktop design and was the first Apple computer to run Mac OS X, which was a huge step forward for modern operating systems. Steve's iMac is also said to have saved Apple from a period of monetary struggles and decreased popularity, allowing for the company to go on to invent all the Apple products we love today. Another revolutionary product invented by Steve Jobs was the iPod. iPod was the first portable digital music player to become widely popular and laid the groundwork for future devices such as the iPhone and iPod Touch. Along with the iPod, iTunes was an important step in the evolving digital age. iTunes paved the way for the huge digital music and movie industry we have today. One of Steve Jobs' greatest and most relevant inventions is the iPhone. iPhone completely redefined the smartphone. Before iPhone, smartphones tended to be BlackBerry-type devices with a physical keyboard and a tiny screen, but iPhone had a large screen with a new type of touch technology. A couple years after releasing the iPhone, Jobs released his next big product, the iPad. iPad was a great new medium between smartphones and a full laptop. It was instantly popular in home, education, and professional uses. Shortly after releasing the iPhone, Apple released the App Store. This created an entire new industry. Suddenly, apps could be used as tools, games, social networks, and much more. The App Store also created opportunities for mass advertising and an increase in programming jobs. In 1985, Steve Jobs left Apple. During this time, Jobs founded Next and bought Pixar Animation Studios. At Next, Jobs produced professional powerhouse computers. Next computers were incredibly useful for scientists and programmers. In fact, they were used by the creators of the Internet. In addition to hardware, Jobs created Next OS during this time, which is the base of the current Mac OS. In '86, Jobs bought Pixar Animation Studios, a small graphics company. Jobs pushed the company forward and released revolutionary movies such as Toy Story and The Incredibles, some of the first computer-animated movies.
Now, obviously, Jobs made jobs. Currently, Apple is responsible for over 2 million jobs in the U.S. alone. The development of the app industry has caused a drastic increase in the demand for software programmers and designers. Basically, all those creative geniuses in Silicon Valley. Jobs founded Pixar, which became extremely successful. This has created many jobs and steady careers for production crews, actors, directors, and especially animators. Additionally, Apple's rapid growth via mass production has created factory jobs in and outside of the U.S. Apple is also a foundation for the American consumer economy. Just last year, Apple spent more than $50 billion on American businesses and manufacturing. Furthermore, Apple and its workers are an important source of tax revenue for the U.S. government. Apple alone paid $13.2 billion in taxes in 2015. Amazingly, under Jobs' leadership, Apple has achieved incredible financial success. The company's GDP is higher than 150 other countries and has allowed them to achieve a stockpile of more than $250 billion. Besides the countless jobs and new industries that Jobs' influence has pioneered, he began the worldwide information age with the commercialization of computers. Jobs has interconnected humanity in unprecedented ways. He introduced the public to new methods of communication, such as email and text. For example, we can hear about news as it happens. You can thank Steve Jobs for making the internet a household item too, and because of this, the sharing of ideas and your precious memes to a vast audience can be accomplished rapidly. Not only has he influenced the lives of the billions of people on this planet, he has provided us, the general public, with the tools to make our own mark on history. Immediate digital communication can organize or direct business, for instance, and programming opportunities with apps via iOS allows one to create their own innovations to share with the world. Scientific discovery has soared with the rise of the information age. This has led to developments in increased data storage, supercomputers that can perform complex calculations, advancements in nanotechnology keep making our computers even more microscopic, and great strides in the development of artificial intelligence.
Like me.
Lastly, education has experienced lots of change from the presence of computers and is completely different from Van de Veer's encyclopedia days.
Had Apple never existed, our world would not be in a modernized information age. Without Apple, computers and the internet would be restricted primarily for government, military, and university use. The computer and the internet would not be a household item like it is today. The framework for modern computers would also not exist, which would make the computers that did exist be a lot less advanced than they are today.
Jobs was an influential entrepreneur who was often revered for his uncanny ability to spot new niches for technological development. His motivational leadership led to the creation of countless innovations and one of the most successful and wealthiest companies in history. It's easy to look around you and see how he has shaped our world today. Furthermore, his impact will no doubt continue to influence the future of the world and the information age he helped establish. His life truly reflects the goals of the American dream. So we ask you to vote for this all-American icon who transformed our country and the world.
We are not responsible for any feelings of shock or awe. If you decide that we made the best presentation, you are correct. Vote for Steve Jobs.